Welcome back to the musings of an old maverick. Welcome back to the archives of my life. Today I'm going to talk about books. This is my greatest love in my life. Books. From the time I started reading, I probably turned into a bookworm overnight. I don't just read books, I devour them dime a dozen. And therefore, I've never ever understood why some people who I come across are, number one, not book readers. They don't love reading books. Number two, they have a tendency to chuck a book halfway through when they sort of lose interest in the contents. Or even worse, many of them jump from the first chapter to the last chapter as if their life depended on knowing what the last chapter was really all about. That's not how you read a book. And therefore, that is not how you ever enjoy what the authors of so many millions of books want to tell you. Why do I enjoy reading a book? Because for me, a book is like a time machine. It's like stepping into a time machine which transports me back into the past. Maybe half a century, maybe a complete century, maybe hundreds of centuries ago. I step into an ecosystem which is alien to me because I wasn't even born there. And an ecosystem where there is someone out there talking to me, telling me about something that probably touched that person's heart so much that he or she had to write about it and turn that into a book. It is an amazingly fascinating journey. Do you want to know how to enjoy this traverse? Well, couple of things. One, don't open a book with preconceived notions. That is the worst thing to do. Because most often you wouldn't have lived in that period. Of course, if you're reading a book that's just about a decade or 2 decades ago, written 2 or 3 decades ago, then yes. But then again, that ecosystem is not the same as the ecosystem you are in today. And we all know that as the ecosystem changes, so do we. As the ecosystem metamorphoses, so do we. And therefore the past always starts fading away in our minds. But when you get into a book and you start listening to what the author is telling you, you again transport yourself back into an era which either you lived in when you were very young or never ever lived in at all. So walking in with preconceived notions makes absolutely no sense, isn't it? Two, everything that you are reading is turning into a mind movie up here. Isn't that true? Even what I'm telling you is kicking up an imagination in your mind. You know why? Because we're always thinking in pictures. We are never thinking in words. So if you really want to understand what the author is trying to tell you, just let that turn into a mind movie and enjoy the movie. Do you know how often I've heard people say, especially when a movie is created from a book, in other words, a book is turned into a movie, some will say the book was far better, the movie was a disappointment. Some would say, wow, the movie was amazing, the book was a disappointment. The former is because your mind movie that you created by reading that book was far more powerful and far more connected with you than the movie that's directed or produced by someone else. Because that person turned his mind movie into a great movie. That's the reason why you feel that that book was far better than the movie. Because your mind movie was beautiful. On the other hand, those who find a movie much better than the book, that's because when they read the book, they didn't really conjure up really amazing mind movies as they read. Thirdly, if you really want to know what the author is telling you, then read every line. Enjoy the construction. Enjoy the way he or she is expressing herself. And as you slowly, gently, wondrously dissolve into every piece of content, you'll actually hear an amazing story written in between the lines. When you actually see that, that is when you are in a time machine. That is when every moment of your experiencing this book becomes so experiential that you almost feel that you were, well, a friendly neighbor of the author out there. Someone you probably knew time after time. When you pick up your next book, just walk into it as if it's a time machine. This is Anand Nair signing off for now, and I'm going to see you soon, very soon. Till then, celebrate life, celebrate being you.